Today's journey starts right here in Brownsville, New York, considered to be one of New York City's most dangerous neighborhoods. To make it out of Brownsville and to find yourself in a situation where you're surrounded by loved ones, you're healthy, and you're successful is a true American story. And today's guest, Jose Rios, aka FLX, FLX, sits down with me and he talks about leaving Brownsville, coming to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, adjusting to the new life, and eventually truly appreciating it. We've always heard the cliche saying, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Flex is a living example of that. When we talk about grit and grind and starting from the bottom, there's no other journey that I'm more excited to share about than this one right here. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. This is Flex's journey, and these are
the Journeyman Chronicles.
Dope thing about this interview is there's two Flexes in this room as we speak. Not only is Jose's nickname Flex, but so is mine. We don't address that in this interview. It was one of those things that I wish I would have, but it just slipped my mind. But there are about 3 Flexes in Lancaster City that I know of, and there's 2 of us in this room right now. Getting to know Flex, Jose, FLX Productions, getting to know him, behind the beat making, behind the entrepreneurial venture that he's in the middle of right now with Creative Hope Studios alongside TJ Griffin is pretty cool. And getting him into the Journeyman Chronicles seat to have a word with him was exciting for me. I'm glad to present this to you right now. This is episode 29 of the Journeyman Chronicles. This is with Jose Rios, aka Flex.
There we go.
Let's go.
Now we're working.
We're cooking with gas now, as they say. Mic check 1 2. Okay, cool. So when I started this podcast, I thought of people I wanted to interview, and you were one of them, because following you on social media and not knowing you but knowing of you and watching your progression, and there's a lot of things I want to get into, but one of them was that I felt like even though I didn't know what you did at the time, and when you're working doing the Chesapeake crab shit,
Yeah.
it's like that blue collar hustle that I always felt like I was watching you do while you were doing Flex Sounds, while you were doing production.
Yeah.
And that's like something that I live till this day, and I've been living it for 15 years myself. Yeah. So when you're hanging it up and able to do what you want to do, when I tell you like that's inspiration, that's the truth. So having you here is like, I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You asked me to be here.
Oh no, absolutely. The podcast is about listening to people, about listening to their journey, because in today's world it's easy to get caught up in the present. Here I am, look at me.
Yeah.
But no one really knows like the sacrifices. No one really knows the pitfalls. No one knows like the depression, the sad times that lock you down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to do this because I knew a lot of people would dig the concept if you just gave them a platform to really like just chill and talk. And so, when we listen to Flex Productions, FLX, and the beats and hip hop and the culture, listening to your beats and reading your posts and knowing how important that is to you. What was it about hip hop that caught your attention? I'm assuming from a very young age. Yeah.
Oh man, as far as I can remember, I remember Christmas. I was probably like, say around 13 years old, maybe a little bit younger, and my mother bought me a Fat Boys vinyl. That was my very, very first vinyl because I used to mess around with her records and throw records on it and mess around. So she bought me a Fat Boys record because I used to love this song. That was my first thing about hip hop. I loved it. I loved the dancing of it. I loved the style of it when I was younger. Really didn't start doing music into like beat making and stuff like that till I was around maybe 16, 17.
Okay.
My grandfather was a musician actually.
What do you do?
He sang and he played guitar, and he was signed to Latin Columbia Records years ago.
Okay.
He passed away. He got killed when I was very, very young. I was probably like a year old or something like that.
Sorry.
Thank you. But his name is my name.
Okay.
And I'm the only one in the family who does music
and has
his name. Everyone else doesn't do music.
Gotcha.
So I lived in Brownsville, Brooklyn, one of like the baddest parts in Brooklyn, and I grew up in an environment, in a hood environment. Most of my friends were black. I was probably one of the only Puerto Ricans who can walk around outside because I knew a bunch of people, a lot of gangsters, a lot of hood people outside who had respect. They took me underneath their wing. So
gotcha.
And had a group of friends that loved the rap. They just loved the rap. So, I was always around them, and they started to buy studio time. Yeah, they started to buy studio time. Manslaughter was the name. And they were dope. The whole hood loved them and everything. And I started to go to the studio with them and seen this one guy, this producer. His name is Swanee Rivers. I still have him to this day on Facebook. He's one of my good friends, and he grew up with my mother. His name is Swanee Rivers, and he was producing, banging on his black box. Just hitting it, doing this, pressing buttons and stuff. And I'm sitting back like, wow, I don't rap. Can't rap. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there enjoying the music and the vibe, and it felt like Mom's house because Mommy used to play music all the time.
Gotcha.
And
yeah.
So I got curious about the box, and I looked around, seen the name, went back, researched it, told my moms that I wanted it, that I needed it, I wanted to learn. I started to mess with Fruity Loops. That's what it was first called.
Yep.
And then she bought me the MPC 2500.
Okay.
Like, I found this kid in Manhattan, rich kid in Manhattan, whose father paid like $4,000 for it at the time. And he was selling it for $800 because he didn't know how to mess with it. So I got it for $800.
There you go.
A $3,000 piece of equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was no turning back after that.
Nice.
I sat in the house pressing buttons. A lot of the people who know me, it's like, yo, Flex, all you do is press buttons. You just like to press buttons because I feel better pressing the buttons and finding out myself.
Yeah.
So I started to produce music for them, and then just started to grow. And just still be in the streets. Selling drugs, getting in trouble, getting locked up.
Yeah.
Dealing with the wrong people. Having to leave Brownsville with my daughter to come down here. And then when I came down here, music was still in me because I was still making beats and stuff like that. Little by little, I was messing around with it on my computer. And then I started to notice that there was artists here.
Okay.
And I started to understand that making music stopped the stress and the aggravation and the anxiety and the depression that I was getting from leaving New York and coming down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All I knew was New York, was Brooklyn. And when I came down here, I was lost. I never seen a cow in real life. Like literally.
That's crazy.
Bro, I never seen a cow in real life until I came to Pennsylvania. Ever. Possums, none of that shit. And not only that, I was transitioning. I was still young. I was still in the streets, still selling drugs over here in Pennsylvania and going back to New York. I was all over the place. I was young.
Yeah.
And I met this girl who's my son's mom. And we hit it off and whatnot. And I ended up moving down here and getting a place with her and working in Clark Filter, doing filters and doing train locomotive filters and stuff like that. And I just started to do music and just keep on doing music here.
One of the when you talk about hitting the box and your friends are like, all you doing is hitting the box. I feel like one of the most misunderstood pieces of hip hop is like the different ways that the music is produced.
Yeah.
Because it's not considered an authentic instrument, even though it really is. Because the creativity that takes place from sampling, looping, breaking the beat down, the DJs and what they do, and I don't even know half of the shit that they do, but I just always am in awe of it because, when you listen to what's done with it, with your eyes closed, that's an instrument,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's to me, it's an instrument.
Yeah.
It's our instrument. It's the
Yeah.
culture's instrument. You know what I mean? If you're loading sounds into your MPC, your sampler, and you're hitting keys, different keys, and matching them up, that's music. That's just like playing
Yep.
the keyboard with whatever.
Yeah.
Playing guitar on a keyboard.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, it's the same thing. Now you have the MIDI controllers where you can manipulate any instrument with keys.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna say that that's not an instrument? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, and it's almost like anybody can hold it and hit the keys, but not everybody can make it sound what it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I've always I think with hip hop with me, it's always been like it's a beautiful, raw birth of a culture's hip hop music.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just like when cats were doing it in the early '80s, late '70s. Plugging shit into the lamppost, and like I remember reading that shit.
Yeah.
And it was always just like that's just so dope. Like that's like how can you not honor that and
Yeah,
respect that, and seeing where it's come now. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
One of the things that I've always loved listening to is stories like this because my brother-in-law, shout out to David, he's from Jersey, but he also lived in New York, and he used to tell me when he came to Pennsylvania for the first time, you had mentioned you never saw a cow. He would tell me, he was like, I couldn't sleep because it was too quiet. Is that
Yeah,
can,
that
can
is
you relate
true.
to that? Yeah.
It's very quiet. It's very dark. I remember me coming down here, and I used to live on Columbia Avenue in Lincoln West Apartments.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That was my very first apartment when I came down
Okay.
to Pennsylvania. And I remember the store being 2 blocks away. I was confused at how far the stores were away from people. And you had to have a car in order to get to these places.
Yeah.
So I was bugged out about that. And I was also bugged out that it was so dark outside with no lights and no sidewalks. I was like, why these people don't got sidewalks? But and then going to sleep also was the quiet, being real quiet. You used to hearing noises and horns beeping and cars and cops, and you don't hear that down here, especially in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Months.
I used to bug out when he told me that because I was like, I love it when it's quiet, but the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it makes sense because that's all you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like when people come from an environment like New York, Jersey, maybe even Philly for the most part, it's the high. You want to fix that?
No.
No, it's all good.
I keep on hitting.
That's my fault. Yeah,
No, that's cool.
No, go ahead and take your time, man.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I don't want you to feel like you got to deal with that shit.
No, I'm good.
But just the lifestyle of the city life, if you want to call it that. People used to the ambiance
Word.
of the city life, coming down here and feeling like this isn't right.
This is quiet.
Yeah.
Then you started to get used to it. I got so used to it that I was like, yo, this is a vacation. Literally, bro. And to this day, I still feel the same. When I first came down here, what you would say was PTSD. I was always worried. I was always worried that I was going to get shot at, or worried somebody was going to run up on me, or worried that whatever, I was going to get into some drama for walking outside. But then I slowly, as time came and me living here, I realized that no one knows me here. I have no problems, no drama with nobody. Nobody's going to shoot me. No, you know what I mean? None of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then slowly I began to enjoy it and be like, yo, I cannot believe that I'm here. Like this is quiet. This is peaceful.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it to this day. I love Lancaster.
I think the older
I'll never go
get-
back to New York.
Oh, but the older I get, maybe you can relate. Is like you appreciate just the stillness of life more.
More. Yeah,
It's just like I just want to, like, I grew up in Lancaster, a couple blocks from here, but I live now in Landisville, so it's quiet.
Yeah.
And it's there's like farmland everywhere.
Yeah.
But when I come home at night, it's I go outside, I'll chill outside, smoke a cigar, or drink some wine or some some grown up shit that you enjoy.
Some 40-year-old
Yeah,
shit.
you know what I mean? Where like, but a lot of young cats right now are like, what the fuck? But
What you
trust
doing?
me, when you get
When
there,
you
it's
get there,
dope as
it's
shit.
so good. It's so dope. Don't
But
get
it's-
it twisted.
It's quiet, and I think that's what the goal is for some people, and I'm one of them. It's just like, let me just enjoy the tranquility
Yes.
of life,
All the
especially
time, bro.
after like working hard or doing something. You reach the point in your life where you're like, this is it. I'm good. Let
Yeah.
me sit back and
Just sit back and be
Yeah.
quiet and mindful. And I do that a lot. I spend a lot of time by myself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have the opportunities of taking long walks by myself and, being alone in the house working, but also taking my time away from work and just normally just sitting in front of my house and looking at the grass or looking at the trees or just being quiet.
Yeah, embracing it.
It takes time, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
It takes time to do that, but you got to do it, bro.
But now that you're at in that point in life, do you go back? You go back to New York, I'm assuming, to visit or no?
I try not to.
Okay.
Honestly, to be honest, I realize when I get down there, I already want to come back home.
Okay.
And I mean, the only reason I go down there is from my mother. My mother still lives down there.
Yeah.
My mother's here now. She's in my daughter's house, but she's visiting. She'll be back home, but she stays in New York. So whenever I go down there, I go see her. Whenever I go down there, I try to go see my father who lives in the Bronx. But after that, I'm back on the road coming back home.
You said your mom's visiting. Does she stay long when she comes and visits?
Mommy comes and she stays for weeks at a time, 2 weeks. My daughter just gave birth, so she's seen her great grandson, so she'll come down, and her other sons and daughters are down here. She's the only one in New York, basically.
Okay.
Because she loves that life.
Yeah.
She loves that New York life.
Yeah.
But yeah, she comes and she visits and stuff like that, and then she goes back home. So she's up here frequently.
That's good. That's what's
Which
up.
is cool, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool. It's cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy her being down here. And my father doesn't though. So every now and then I might go down there to go see him.
Yeah, yeah.
But besides that, bro, I'm over there and I'm coming back. I don't like to be in New York. I just like to be home. In general, period. I'm always a home person. I really don't like to go out.
Yeah, introvert. That's me.
I
Like,
really don't like to go out.
Yeah.
I go out when needed to. Other than that, it's hard to really get me out sometimes.
yeah, I think I grew up so much in an introverted life that my wife now is like breaking me out of that, which is good. There's times where but there's times where I'm just like, I'll go out because I know it's good for me, and I'm grateful because I've been networking and I've been meeting new people. But I don't. It's not like I itch to when the pandemic kicked off, and I hate to say it, because there was a lot of tragedy and there was a lot of confusion. But when the whole world stopped, I was like, what? Like I was like, this is y'all catching up to me now, and that was like,
it made it a lot more better. Let me retract that. I'm not gonna say it made it. For some reason, it was for some people it was very horrible. On my side, it was very horrible because my girlfriend Nina lost her grandfather.
I'm sorry.
So you know what I mean. It was really bad, and a couple of people I know who got really sick.
Absolutely.
But for a person like me, I think that COVID made me really realize that I really like being by myself.
Yeah.
And in the business that I'm in with networking and things like that, it's cool. But when it's time for me to enjoy myself, I really enjoy myself more than being around a lot of people. I would much rather sit down and just do what I love to do. I mean, when you get a certain age, you just want to do stuff you're happy to do and not be forced to do stuff you don't want to do.
Right.
And you do stuff off the kindness of your heart and you know what I mean? Because, you feel you need to do it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But at my age right now, you can't force me to do something that I don't want to do, especially if I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You got to
Sure.
You got to really convince me.
Well, I mean, you're so set in your ways by this point in your life. It's like, why I can relate to that. I never put it that way. Nobody could make me do something that I don't want to do right now because I have zero chill and zero fucks at 43 years old. I don't want to do that. There's times where people come over to my house and I'm up at 3:30 in the morning for work. So Saturdays, by the time I come home from work and we get a get together going on and people are coming over, I want to entertain as much as possible. But God bless my wife because she knows it and I try. But there comes a point where I hit this, I'm done. And I just walk upstairs.
You want to hear something funny?
Go ahead.
Me and Nina, we have a thing where when we go anywhere, I don't care where it's at, my family's house, it could be a funeral, it could be whatever. If I go to her, she goes to me, she says I'm at 100, we out of there.
That's nice. So you got the code.
Yeah, that means that we're at our 100 level of happiness and fun. It ain't gonna get no higher than this.
Okay.
And now it's time to go home.
Okay, you peaked.
Yeah, we peaked. We peaked of our happiness.
Yeah.
We're ready to go home.
I like that.
And I'm at 100, and she look at me, I look at her, and we start saying bye to everybody, and we're gone.
That's
We're
what's
out.
up. That's what's up.
Go home.
Do you guys, when you have that code, is it like an effort? Like, all right, we're gonna make this work. I'm not gonna give you the 100 mark
No.
at 10 minutes in. Oh, it's whenever.
I mean, when we go out, we have our intentions.
Sure.
When
that's
we
what
go
I'm saying.
out, we don't leave in 20 minutes. I mean, we stay for an hour or two.
Yeah, and then
But then after hour two, that 100 can come. That 100 could come like that. As soon as I come out the bathroom, she's like, I'm at 100. Okay, let's go. And we'll leave. We'll walk right out.
that's like music to your ears. Yeah.
Sometimes it is, bro.
Yeah.
No matter how much fun you having.
Nah,
I can be in
love
a club, in a party, in a wherever, and people are having fun, and I'm having fun too. But in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, I want to go home.
Yeah, I've bounced.
It's weird.
I've left. I've had people that take me someplace, and
You
I walk home. Yeah, I'm out. I walked home from Lebanon. I walked home from. I'm not lying, though. 3 hours out because I was just like, all right, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Walking at home. 3 hours.
I'm trying to. There was something that you mentioned a couple minutes ago, and now I'm having a brain for it. But I was tying it into what you're doing now, and how that started. Dream Loud,
Yeah.
Dream Loud music program. I remember this starting off, and I want to dig into that. But I'm assuming that helped transition you into what you're doing now with
Yeah.
Create. Okay, so talk to me about. Obviously, it comes from music production, your involvement in music, your networking and connection with MCs in Lancaster, rappers in Lancaster, however you want to label it. You have this idea. I mean, how does this start to do what you're doing?
So I was obviously, I was producing for almost everybody in town.
Yeah.
Every artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I love doing it.
Yeah.
So I was producing for everybody and creating songs and, just in the music scene, doing that type of stuff and sending beats to different emails and artists, like celebrity artists, rappers and
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
And I slowly started to realize that this isn't going nowhere. Me spending all this time on artists and making music and making songs, it isn't going nowhere if they're not pushing it with me. If they're not 100% at what they want to do and,
Yeah.
their goals and their motivation to win.
Yeah.
Not that they wasn't. I was just a lot. My motivation
It didn't match
was-
it.
Yeah, and ambition was just so much more stronger that I ain't had no time to wait because most of the time I was older than a lot of them.
Yeah.
And my time was like, I ain't got all the time you got. I got kids. I got stuff I gotta do. So I slowly realized that wasn't the situation. And then I was trying to figure a way out. And TJ, my partner and brother, he was doing the Vision program, and he was doing his programs in different facilities and stuff like that. And something came up with him about some music stuff, and he was like, "Yo, Flex, would you like to just come to like a facility and do like a music program with the kids or whatever the case may be? They'll pay you." And I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'll do it." I did it the first time, and then I fell in love with it. Every now and then, they would call me for me to go. I would do it, and then I made a song with Armageddon from Terror Squad. It was called Dream Loud, and that was my first placement, my very first placement.
Okay.
So I was doing this program. I was like, Dream Loud music program. So TJ gave me the hookup with one of the facilities, and I started to do my own thing with them, back and forth, do my own thing with them, and then I started to grow on my own. TJ was teaching me the ropes and stuff like that of what was going on in this realm of business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just started to grind it. I just started to grind Dream Loud, call numbers, email people, do stuff out of my comfort zone, like speak to people online and on the phone and like all types of stuff to try to get in contact with these bigger people to let them know that I had a program, and this is what my program did. So I created the Dream Loud music program, which I would go into different facilities, juvenile detention centers and placement centers, and teach music production, recording, give the kids an actual outlet for self-expression and teamwork, and bounce the music for them so that way they had positive influenced music, or teach them how to write, change their words, hip-hop culture, things like that.
Yeah.
And it slowly grew. It slowly became one program, to 2 programs, to 6 programs, to being the lead music program provider in Baltimore. In Maryland, in the state of Maryland.
Wow.
They gave me a big check. They gave me a big contract, actually. And then It's funny because when I got that, I was still working my crab house.
Yeah.
I was running around doing the crab house for 15 years. I worked at crab house.
Okay.
And then that job started to get me very frustrated.
Yeah.
Because I started to see that I don't got anything else but this.
Right.
What's the next 10 years going to look like for me? And the answer was, Flex, you're still going to be driving a truck in the next 10 years with no insurance, no 401k, no nothing. And then it goes to, do you really want that shit? Do you really want to just retire with a 401k? Do you really just want the minimum, or you want to live your life? So, I started to work my full-time job till it became my part-time job till I fired my boss. And that's what I did with Dream Loud until March 17th.
Of what year?
When COVID started.
2020.
2020. March 17th, I got the contract, which was a 6-figure contract, and I quit March 17th in my job because I was going to start the following week doing these programs, which was a hell of a lot of work, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
There wasn't no BS. It was me traveling to Baltimore, 4 or 5 hour drive, back and forth, all staying in a hotel for 4 days a week, and coming home, spending time Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday with my kid.
Out. Yeah.
But I was going to do it because that was it. I was just going to do it. So I quit my job the 17th, and that 17th, I get a call from TJ later on that night. He's like, bro, I don't know if you've seen what's going on with COVID, but they plan on closing. I just got a call from a couple people from a couple facilities, and they said that they're closing the facilities, and be on the lookout. They might be closing facilities. Following day, I get a call from Maryland telling me that contract's voided. Yeah, don't know when we're gonna open back up.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. You can't come in. So now I quit my job yesterday, the day before this.
Yeah.
Just hell. It was total hell. Total hell after 15 years of working, busting your ass, having a check that was gonna come that you were comfortable with, and then boom, everything's fucking gone. You got kids, you got a house, you got, your girlfriend, you got cards, you got so much stuff. So much stuff, and now you have nothing coming in. So, a couple months went past. I had some money saved or whatnot. Thank God we had a business because you get your loans, you get stuff like that.
Sure.
So that kind of held the water a little bit. But then TJ and I, we were both in the same boat.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because all of our programs were personal. Like we went in there and physically did these
in person. Yeah.
So me and him were just playing games, and I made him buy an Xbox. I made him go and buy like an Xbox for Warzone. I was like, bro, you need to play Warzone. We need to play.
Yeah.
So we're just playing and we're playing, and we came up with Creative Hope Studios.
While playing video games.
While playing video games.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He was like, we were just talking. I was like, bro, we need to put both our programs together. We need to figure this out. And while we were playing, we sketched it up in our head.
Yeah.
Hung up the phone. The next day, he called me, LLC'd it, found the name, called somebody for a logo, got the logo done, EIN numbers, started pitching the program the following week. Made the company into a 6-figure company in about 6 months.
Forgive me, how long after when you realized, fuck, I'm SOL at this moment with COVID hitting and everything shutting down, how long after that was it when you and TJ, was it within the same year? 2020?
Wow. March 4. Man, honestly, I don't know. I know we just 3 months, we're a year and 3 months old already.
Okay, so it must have been a year then after, because we're 2 years after COVID. The reason why I bring that up is because I wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Because that initial
shut down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And everything, like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. That
this
went on.
This is really happening.
Yeah, we did some Zoom calls, some Zoom programs, because the directors and stuff were calling us, asking us if we can do Zoom programs with the kids. So we started to do stuff like that, but it started to get real boring for the kids, and not,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went on for a while. You know what I mean? And,
but what are you thinking?
Bro, I'm going
when
crazy.
that call, when you get that, the check, the contract's voided.
My heart dropped.
Yeah.
My heart dropped. I got nauseous. I remember that day being so dark. Like I felt like, I don't know, I felt like my world was over. I felt like, holy crap, I didn't know what to do. I was nervous. It's just a whole bunch of different mixed feelings.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm going to make it happen. I've been in this situation before. I was homeless, so I know what it is to feel like you lost fucking everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've done it before. So there's no problem with me. That's why, to this day, now, I'm not afraid to lose anything. I'll lose it all. And it'll be stressful, but I'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's why losing it all, I'm not afraid of it.
I wonder if, like, and I don't know this feeling, so I'm gonna pick your brain here because I'm just thinking of this now. But at that time when everything shut down, there was like a collective what the fuck across the whole fucking country, and I wasn't sure if that, not that softened the blow, but I'm wondering if that was like a okay, we're all for the most part on the same page here, so if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. Like, if they're going to get back up, sometimes when you go through it on your own, it's fucking dark. But I felt like when the whole world shut down, like,
Feel a little bit more comfort.
Everyone a little
else was
more
going through the same thing.
Yeah,
which is understandable.
Well, I think even just not even like doing business, having your own business, but just the entire, like, what the fuck's going on? No one knows what the fuck's going on. We're all in the same boat. There was a kind of like a comfort in that, like, all right, well, then we're not the only ones.
We gotta figure this out.
It was
Everyone's
weird.
Gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a little cushion to know that you weren't the only one going through it, and everyone else was going through it with you, and and everyone else felt their certain ways, because it hit hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But everyone who had jobs who couldn't go to work and was getting paid less, but it worked out for some people.
Sure.
Some people owned businesses and got PP loans and actually lived 100 times better than what they were living prior to COVID. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people now understand their worth a little bit more and don't want to go back to work and want to create something, want to become entrepreneurs and want to do that, because they actually got a taste of being home and being with their family and their kids and seeing what it is to feel like living and making and having money to live with, because that's what the government did. It gave you a lot of money and gave you a lot of time, and you can't turn that back without feeling a weird way.
Yeah. It flipped the script on a lot of things too, because the way we live now, a lot of it was predicated off of how COVID affected the game. I mean, just dumb shit like how I can order my shit on Sheets and someone can bring it to my car. That shit wasn't happening.
To your house.
Yeah,
to your house.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that business. I mean, like, and like I said, like, I don't want people thinking like I'm finding a comic relief through a tragedy like COVID. No, but
I'm sure everyone understands.
Yeah, but there was like, I was having fucking alcohol delivered to my crib, and nobody was doing that until COVID started. So I can only imagine. Like, do you think because of COVID, the program that you and TJ are doing right now with Creative Hope, do you think anything from that COVID experience, the ideas that you took from that experience that were born because of that experience are why your business is as successful as it is now?
Yeah. Well, you gotta understand, COVID came and Creative Hope Studios was created through COVID.
Yeah.
The idea came about because we were in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
And the idea came about was because I was doing a music program also, and he was doing a hip hop entrepreneur program and financial literacy program and stuff like that. And we were physically going to the program. So now our idea was, how can we take your program and my program, put it together, and give them this package to where they don't need us anymore.
Got you.
You know, it's going to hurt our pockets because we can't come back to these things, but we're doing it for the kids. We're actually creating a program to give to you guys, to train the staff on how to utilize the program.
That's right.
And now you don't need no people to come into your programs, because you can't. You can't even have a mat. You can't even go into these facilities. So now we don't need to go there. Now you have everything. Y'all can do this program by yourself.
Yeah.
All we do is create the program, create the structure, and train you on the structure and the program, and now you have it.
That's so dope.
For whenever this happens again, if it does happen, God forbid, I hope it doesn't, you know what I mean? But say, for instance, if things close again, they don't need us. They have all that stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I think, you know, that idea of, and you're right, that's when you say it's going to hurt our pockets, but that shows how passionate you are about what you're doing.
Yeah.
That you're taking it a step further and saying, I'm going to show you how to do this.
Yeah.
When you the staff, teaching the staff, like, how involved are they? Do you find them wanting to be involved to teach the students, or
yeah, well, the ones that they pick out, because when we go and we train staff, we make sure that the facility picks the people who are the most interested in the music, in the program.
Because that's what I was getting at.
You got to have a buy-in in it, because if you have people inside there that's just there to be there because they called a meeting for training, it ain't going to go well. And we've seen that in the beginning of Creative Hope. So now we only train from 1 to like 5 people, 1 to 6 people, depending on the size of the room where we put the studio and the media station in. So it can be arranged from 1 to 5 people. And we train them, and they have a buy-in. And I created the program. I created the training the way it's super, super easy. I take all that technical stuff out of the way and give it to you the way, without selling it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You learn it, and that's just it.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And right now that we're kind of like on the, you know, we're back to some sort of a normalcy.
Yeah.
You know, Creative Hope Studios is back to going in person. Or how's that?
No. Well, it's normal. So we do master classes. They call us out to certain places to do a master class on the equipment and things like that. But for right now, we're so busy with Creative Hope Studios that we don't do in-person programming anymore unless, you know, it pops up. We're not fishing for programming.
Yeah.
Stuff. We're so busy with Creative Hope Studios and growing Creative Hope Studios that at this moment we're in the process of just building these guys and getting out. We created a goal. We want to raise $1 million to put a studio in every state in the United States. So right now we're in 5-6 states. We're over close to 20 facilities, maybe 17 to 20 facilities. I got to count.
Yeah.
And that's our goal, to actually raise that money to go and build these studios. So that's our goal, is to go and just get these studios in the facilities, so these kids can, you know what I mean, have some type of self-expression, some type of normalcy.
Well, doing something for the kids, and you know, that's really what this is all about. When it comes down to, you're doing, I mean, it's music, but it's the youth that are in these centers, these facilities, and you know, I remember watching some of the things you would share, some of the things TJ would share, the videos of these youth that are being treated like they're not kids, and you have to remind yourself, like, these are kids. Man. They're just kids, and they don't have an outlet or a life because of
no parents sometimes.
Yeah,
nowhere to go. Some of the kids aren't even criminals, and they're locked up because they literally have nowhere to go. They are in prison, in juvenile detention centers and placement centers, and never committed a crime in their life.
That blows my mind, though.
They're there because they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
They have no family to go to.
That's a failure in this country. The system is, or is it? Is it designed that way? You know, we can get, I mean, that's a whole different.
And then 9 times out of 10, we got people and kids in these facilities and people controlling these facilities who have no idea where these kids come from, what culture they come from. They have no idea about the culture. They have no idea about these kids. They're just pushing stuff on them that they have no idea about.
Yeah.
You know, and you said the music studios, but it's not only a music studio.
production.
Creative Hope Studios is a music studio, but it's also a video editing software involved in it. It's also Adobe Photoshop, Final Cut Pro. It's everything. You can shoot podcasting. You can shoot videos. It comes with a 4K camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a realm of things. You know what I mean? All types of things involved in a Creative Hope Studio. So it's not just recording. You know.
How involved are the kids getting? They're getting very involved.
We get feedback from a lot of facilities that we've put Creative Hope Studio in, and telling us that, you know, counselors are hearing stuff that they've never heard before. We get music sent to us from kids.
That's so dope.
It's so dope, yo. It's super dope, bro.
Oh man,
it's super dope. I love what I do.
Yeah,
I love it.
You have to. I mean, I'm just hearing that. That's got to be a phenomenal feeling.
It's cool, bro.
You
know,
know,
we get to travel, and I mean, we bust our ass. Y'all guys just see us traveling, but it takes some work to do anything that you're passionate in.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of depression. You really got to be mentally strong. And for a person like me who deals with mental illness, depression, and super anxiety and sadness, a lot, it's double hard for me in some sort, because I have to fight my brain with books.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to fight my brain with books, so that way books can keep my mind in control. You know what I mean? Listening to positive stuff and having faith and law of attraction and positive energy, and that stuff helps me. Yeah. Because without that stuff, I'll be gone.
No, I'm right there with you. It's I need content that's going to keep my brain busy. Yeah. Because I'm right there with you, and I'm glad we touched on this, because when I couldn't remember what it was you had said, I do now. You had mentioned that you were stepping out of your comfort zone. And so, when we talk about anxiety, depression, we talk about a comfort zone that's built because of all of those things that you deal with. Yeah. And now you're stepping out of that to speak on the phone.
Crazy.
Talk to me about it. Talk to me about like what, I mean, I can't imagine. I know right now for me that when I decided to do the podcast, it was like I finally said, no, I'm going to do it. As opposed to, years ago of trying to follow a passion and being hesitant because I wasn't sure.
You're never sure.
You're never sure, but
you're never gonna be.
Tell me about that final, I'm doing it. This is it.
So I learned through going through my situation and having a mentor and speaking to different people that if you're uncomfortable, that's the place you need to be. You need to be uncomfortable in order to grow. That's just what it is. And I've learned to just fight through it. And as you fight through it, it becomes easier. I mean, in the last 2 years, I fought through so much scary shit. Yeah. But I woke up in the morning time and said, you know what? I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, and it's going to be gone tomorrow. I'm going to do it, and it's going to be done. Tomorrow is not even going to be, it's going to be all right tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I started to do that stuff, and I started to read more books and realize that I'm only afraid because I'm not comfortable. When I'm not comfortable because I never did it before.
Right.
But once I do it, I will become comfortable, and it'll be easier for me to fight these things. And this year, I said to myself, and I told, the people who I love and the people who are close to me, I want to fight being afraid of cameras and being afraid of speaking to people and being afraid to be on stage and talking and and representing our company, and I want to be comfortable doing this. So I get thrown in. Sometimes I'm not even prepared. I just go.
Yeah.
I just say I'm gonna do it. And I've been doing it. I've been doing it this year. I've been talking more and jumping on in front of classrooms and doing presentations and just all sorts of stuff, because I know that if I do it, it benefits me, it makes me grow, it makes me become a better man, and it makes me more successful. And if it makes me more successful, that means that I'm doing a great job for
You're on the right
kids and my
track.
grandkids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not about me anymore.
Yeah.
But it's fucking scary.
Oh.
And it's scary to this day. I don't like pictures. I don't like videos. I never liked being in any music videos. I never liked being on any stages. I don't like pictures.
Yeah.
None of that shit. So I got to break through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the scariest shit is the shit that you got to fucking do.
Word.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
You will constantly fight yourself to the point where you actually discourage and unmotivate yourself to do the thing that's the best thing for you to do. It just don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense.
You eventually realize that you're
Sabotage
not growing.
yourself.
Yeah. You're not growing.
That's why, like, the hardest thing to do is to fight your mind, fight yourself. Your mind is crazy. Your mind is going to tell you that you can't do it or don't do it. It's going to give you all the reasons why you can't do it. Every fucking reason, because it's made that way. It's made to save you. It's made for you to keep you safe. You know what I mean? And you gotta fight that. You gotta fight that shit, yo. You know what I mean? I say, when I was younger, I wasn't afraid to go running out on the street doing all sorts of crazy shit. It wasn't even a second thought. I was a little nervous and stuff, but I fucking did it.
Yeah.
I did it because all my friends was doing it and I thought it was cool. So now it's just like I got the same mentality. I'm doing it for me this time, and I'm not gonna get hurt. What's the worst thing that can happen? I get a no, or I become successful.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like you have to break through that wall of what's the worst that can happen. And that's tough because
What's the worst that can happen?
Right.
You
It's
become
so
homeless.
easy.
You lose everything. It's all fucking material shit, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what? You lose everything. I mean, it's hard for people to say because people got a lot of shit. I got a lot of shit. But when the time comes in your mind where you just don't give a fuck if you lose everything,
Yeah.
it's all
It's like
sky's the limit for you.
It's not worth it if you're not willing to
Yeah.
be okay with losing it.
yeah, or you can be comfortable.
Yeah. I've learned that if I speak it out loud, what will be done, then it's like my brain corresponds. And you know, does that make sense to you?
It does.
It's like, and my wife is like my rock because she'll know when my anxiety kicks in. And it's usually when it's just, there's a lot of shit going on at one time and my brain can't think. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I start shutting down, and or in regards to like something that I haven't done before that I don't want to fail at. As soon as I go, this is what you're going to do. But I'm talking to myself, but I handle it like I'm speaking to somebody else, because I can be at work and talk to somebody like a motherfucker, and like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You're going to hear me out.
Yeah.
But I don't talk to myself like that, and I should in regards to prepping myself for success. No, you're going to be fine. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And as soon as I say that, it's like, all right, I can do that. I'm going to get it done.
I used to do it all the time. In the beginning, when I started to break away from my programming and being around people and speaking and you know, TJ's my brother. He used to just throw me into shit. It's funny because he knows. He'll laugh at me and he'll be like, "You're gonna be doing this. You want to do this? Here you go." So, where was I getting to with that?
He just throws you into shit.
Yeah, he just throws me in. So I remember in the beginning of me doing this stuff, and I had something to do the following day, I would be a wreck. Anxiety, nervous. I would go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to rehearse what I was going to say or what I was going to do. And 100% of the time, it wasn't even what it was, bro.
Right.
100% of the time. There wasn't one time where I said, I killed my brain last night, the night before, stressed and tired to wake up to do a program because I was so stressed and tired. You know, didn't go to sleep at 3 o'clock, and it never went the way it's supposed to go.
It's almost like... it's just gonna sound so corny, but I kind of compare it to memories when I was a child, and I remember scared to do something, and I would do it, and my mom or somebody would go, "See,
that's exactly what
you know what I mean."
That's exactly.
It's kind of
what
like
it
this,
is.
like,
See?
oh, it wasn't that bad, but again, it's like that wall, that fourth wall that gets in the way of your thought, your negativity. You can't do it. What if? I can't. Yeah.
I can't.
And so, you know, when I mentioned in the beginning that it's inspiring to see you do what you're doing, I know that a lot of other people feel the same way. They have to, because in today's climate right now, seeing positive progression and somebody that's here where you're at, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm watching a celebrity in Hollywood get spoon-fed movie roles, and they've achieved so much, and they have like this tremendous story. I'm talking about like somebody that's right here in Lancaster, or right here in Millersville, or Lebanon, or whatever. You know, like you've watched them through the years, and I just feel like continue doing what you're doing, man. You and TJ both. It's like absolutely. It's beautiful to see, and I think, like, you know, when I see children involved, I feel it in my heart a little bit more, because you don't see enough of that. And I feel like what you guys are doing really is like, you're like teachers in a way, and you get that notoriety of the teacher doing so much and not getting recognition. And so I wanted to just, you know, as they say, give you your flowers, and hopefully TJ as well will get them on here. No, absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing. Talk to me about you mentioned briefly being a grandfather. I don't know if you noticed that, but talk to me about grandpa life, because I know you're a brand new grandfather.
Man, I'm blown away, bro.
Woo!
I'm blown away. I'm so freaking happy.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like, I mean, my kids are my life. My kids are like my, that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But you're never really ready for a grandkid. You're a grandfather?
No.
For me, it was, man, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy to see his face. I get to see him every day. You know, due to the job, me being who I am and being an entrepreneur, I have all the time that I can to see him.
Yeah.
I'm not working a 9 to 5 and having to come home tired and not spend time with my family. So that's one of the benefits. But he brought so much happiness into my life in the last 3 months. I look at his pictures every day and I laugh. I just smile at him. Like, every time I look at a picture of him, it just makes me feel so happy. And I haven't been really, really happy like that in a long time to see him. I mean, my kids make me super happy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But to have another little small baby around who you created by creating someone else. Yeah. Like, you see the generation, you see his face, you pick things out on him. He's just he's 3 months old, but he's just an awesome kid. Yeah. And it kind of brought a new light to my life. It kind of made me more happier for certain instances. And it really, 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 really made me feel like I need to go harder. It made me feel like I'm not worried about not only my daughter and my son now, my grandson. Yeah. My grandson needs to not be in a position that I was in ever. Ever, and I'm going to make that happen. And that's just what it is. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. My kids and my grandson will never have to deal with the situations I've dealt with in my life and being in poverty or in the hood or anything like that. Yeah. Not as long as I'm alive. Give me another 10, 15 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, man, he's fucking awesome, yo. I love it. He's just an awesome. I just can't wait I'm just trying to cherish every moment.
Absolutely.
The smallest things, because you realize when your kids start getting older, the hugs stop. The I love you stop. Yeah. You know, that laying next to them while you're watching TV and rubbing their head, all that shit ends sometimes. You know what I mean? And then when you get this new little bright light in your life and he's just a little tiny baby, like, you miss that stuff, yo. You don't really realize how much you miss a little baby until the little baby it's like there. Yeah. Especially when you can get them motherfuckers back.
No, I feel like I mentioned, my two oldest are 19. She'll be 20 in November. My son just turned 15. Yeah. But then I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 3-year-old reminds me of she reminds me of my oldest when she was that age. It's like weird.
And then the distance.
Yeah, dog.
You got a 20-year-old?
20, soon to be 20,
and a 1
and a 50. Yeah, one. So when I met my wife, 2014. I was in the middle of a separation, and soon to be a divorce at that time. Okay. And long story short, we started dating, but it wasn't the right time.
This is from another.
Yeah,
wife.
I have two from
Okay.
my first two from my ex-wife,
Which
and
are the oldest ones, obviously.
yeah, and she wanted children, and I, when I met her, before I met her, I was like, obviously in my mind's eye, I'm like, I'm done. But when I met her, I was like, absolutely, because I just knew she was going to be a phenomenal mom, and she is.
Dope.
So when I hold my youngest, when you say that, like that goes away after a while. I hold her, and I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah.
I held my eldest like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like I'm at this point in my life, and maybe you can relate because we're around the same age where it's like we start thinking, like I'm starting to think when we talk about generational wealth, not just financial, but just like mental stability. I for the past 20 years now have been a father, and when I first became a father, it was like I need to always do for my kids. And now as my daughter's going into college and I'm looking ahead, I'm like, I'm probably going to be a grandfather in the next 5 to 10 years. And that kind of blows my mind. It could be sooner.
It could be sooner, bro.
It could be, right? And so it's like, I never had to think about that.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about, fuck, man, I need to make sure, like, there's going to be generations of my name way after I'm gone. That Matrix type of, if that makes sense to you,
Think
like
about it every day.
dude,
Every
it's
day.
like it blows me away.
Every day.
It's like, man, I need to make sure. It's so important to make sure that the foundation in your family is strong, because you don't.
You got to
generations
value.
Yeah.
Value, bro.
Yeah, and I don't think when you're 20s and 30s, you don't think about shit like that. And then it's like now it's starting to, when I saw you with your grandson and hearing you talk, I can hear you. You're like, you're already there. My grandson will not go through what I went through. I'm already thinking of, the other grandchildren, if there are any. I need to make sure there's,
I'm trying my hardest, bro.
Yeah, and they're gonna have
Everything I
children,
got.
and yeah.
Everything I got, I mean, there's nothing that's gonna stop me, bro.
But that's the beautiful thing of life. That's like that's the point of life. I feel like is maintaining something for your family to
You
continue
really,
on.
when he came, I really realized my purpose in life, yo.
Mm.
You get a certain age where you really start realizing it ain't about you anymore.
Yeah,
It's just not about you.
absolutely.
It's not about what you have.
No,
It's not. To me, it ain't anything.
no, it's not. It's not as much as like you can always. I always say like, my family comes first, but you need to make sure that you're good first so that your family benefits.
Mhm, yeah.
But at the end of but also there's like that other side of the coin where it's like, and I tell my wife this all the time. I tell her, I'm like, I need to make sure you're okay. She was like, I need to make sure you're okay. I'm like, don't worry, it's different for me. And maybe that's like the negative thinking part.
Yeah. Don't worry about
that
me.
men,
That's
that men
man
do.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a man thing.
But
Don't
it's
worry
like
about
I don't
me.
want you to worry about me. Because it's not about me.
Mm.
But it is. So it's like this
yeah.
juggling that you do.
You gotta listen to her, bro.
Yeah, dog.
You gotta listen to her, man.
I listen to my wife about 95% of the time.
There
The
you
other
go.
5%, I learned that I should have listened
You
to my
should
wife.
listen to her. I tell you, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
So to wrap this up real quick, let's talk about cigars, dog. Because I know you smoke cigars.
I love 'em, man.
I know, and
Hobbies.
yeah, I love smoking cigars. I have certain that I like, but I'm not like an aficionado where I like.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, yeah, because there's a lot of cats that are like, it needs to be rolled in. It was rolled in this, in this type of tobacco was in this type of humidor.
To
and-
each his own, bro.
yeah.
That's all I say.
You just like a good stick.
To
and
each
just,
his own.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my humidor.
Yeah.
I have a portable humidor that was bought for my birthday. My Nina gave it to me.
There you go.
I know you need, you keep them in certain type of humidity.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's go back.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, I smoked cigarettes for years. I started smoking at like 14. Cigarettes. I'm 40 now. And I smoked hella cigarettes because I used to drive truck for Chesapeake Crab Connection. So I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Literally bad. I couldn't even walk up the stairs. At the end, I was just like, yo, I can't do this shit no more. I lost track of how long it's been since I picked up a cigarette, which is probably way more than 6 years, 7 years, maybe 8 years now.
Word.
Somewhere around there.
I'm around 6 years myself.
It could be
Yeah.
more. I just stopped I don't think of cigarettes until somebody says something about cigarettes. You know what I mean? Or we bring up stuff like this. So I stopped smoking cigarettes. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking stop. And I stopped. And how I stopped was I made it a game. I said, I know how hard it is to stop smoking when you're drinking. I know how hard it can be to want a cigarette when you're mingling. I know how hard it can be
when you eat,
when you shit.
Yep.
When you wake up in the morning time
Yep.
with a coffee, break, whatever.
Yep.
Your whole day was based on fucking cigarette.
Oh, absolutely.
You would go out in the freezing cold and smoke a cigarette.
In the rain.
And I hated the fact that it had so much power over me. And that's things that I don't like. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like when things feel like they got power over me. You know what I mean? I want to accomplish it and fix it.
Yeah.
So I said, fuck it, I'm going to stop. And I stopped, and I used to go to parties knowing that I was going to feel like I needed to smoke a cigarette, but I would play the game and say I accomplished something that day. And I did it every time. I went out. I didn't avoid drinking. I didn't avoid being around people who were smoking or drinking. I didn't avoid none of that shit. I just went there knowing that I was going to come back home and not smoke. And like I said, and bring it back to fighting your fears. And doing it, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. And before you know it, you're not even thinking about a fucking cigarette.
Yeah.
You're not even worried about that shit. So, after I stopped smoking cigarettes, I still had the fixation of having something.
Sure.
So I was like, let me try a cigar. You don't inhale. Let me see. So I went and picked up a cigar and looked at one, just picked it up and started pulling it. And I just started to like it. I started to like the smell of it. I started to like the pepper taste. You know, I started to enjoy it. So I started to research it like I do with anything else. I research this and that and where this come from and how's the right way to do it and how's the right way to smoke or what are the when you have situations like this and things like hobbies or cigars or whiskey, it comes with history.
Yeah.
And I love history. That's why all of my hobbies are based off of history. My music has history. My bonsais has history. My love for whiskeys has history in it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? The cigars has history in it.
Yeah.
So it kind of caught me. So I wanted to know how you can do it. How do you smoke it? How this, that. So I don't really know a lot. I'm not like but I love to smoke them.
Yeah.
I have the ones that I really like. I love the taste. I love the way they roll. I love the way they pull. I love the smell of the smoke.
Yeah.
I love the taste of it that it gives me on my lips. I love it mixed with whiskey, certain whiskeys. And that's it. But the real, you know what I mean? You have to.
Yeah, the diehard fan.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah.
You do it the way you do it. I enjoy a good cigar. I enjoy a good cigar when I'm out. Sometimes I enjoy a good cigar in front of my house while I'm just listening to music or drinking a cup of coffee. It's just something to do.
I never did it with the coffee. I should try that. It's usually like with the drink, but when we talk about being alone with your thoughts, a cigar is like, give me a half hour, 40 minutes. That's like my best friend. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I never thought I could appreciate something like that until I really started taking my time. Because that's like, you can't smoke a cigar real quick.
You get dizzy and throw up.
Yeah, just let me calm down. And that's where I need to make sure nobody's going to give me anxiety.
Leave it alone. Leave me alone. You know, you take a couple pulls, you taste it.
Yeah.
You know, that type of stuff. There's a lot of different ways of smoking it. There's a lot of different ways of lighting it. You know, everyone does their own thing the way they do it.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, you're smoking a cigar, you're enjoying it, you're enjoying the brotherhood.
Yep.
You're with your fellows smoking a cigar and, you know, talking shit and stuff. It's like whiskey.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
else.
What kind of whiskey you like?
All whiskey.
All whiskey.
Nah, I got favorite. My ultimate favorite, and everybody says, yo, why? But I like Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
It's a cheaper bottle. I just like the rough taste of it. I love the taste of the charcoal. I just love Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
But I've drank, you know, my second favorite is Woodford Reserve. You know, I drank that. I have Woodford Reserve. I have Four Roses. That's pretty good. I love my Jack Daniels. Just a bunch of different stuff, man.
You just like your whiskey and you like your cigar.
Larceny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this up? We should link up sometime and have some whiskey and some cigars, dog.
Tell me the day, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Always for that.
I appreciate you coming on. I know it's getting late. I appreciate it. I'm grateful, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you for joining me. All right. That's it, brother.
All right.
Episode 29. with my man Flex. Jose Rios is officially wrapped up. He is now a part of the many guests here on the Journeyman Chronicles, and more are coming. The number is growing. I am excited. I'm grateful. Listening to Flex's story, there's a lot that we didn't get into, but you heard him talk about that he's not afraid to lose it all. He's been homeless before. There's a story there that one day, maybe one day in the future, we'll have Flex come back. He can break that story down, but nonetheless, just the gems that my man was talking about today. Not having fear. You have to be able to just say, fuck that, I'm doing it. I'm not worried. I've been through enough that I'm not scared anymore. I take my hat off to him. I take my hat off to also TJ, Flex and TJ together with Creative Hope Studios and what they're doing. It's dope, man. Giving back to these kids in these detention centers, the youth that people are just forgetting about. When you hear Flex talk about how some of these kids aren't even committing any crimes, they're just there because they got nowhere to go. So, I'm going to leave a link in the description for this episode for Creative Hope Studio. If anybody wants to get a hold of Flex, they got some questions about this, there's the information right there. The beats that you heard throughout this episode and the beats that you heard in the video that I post that corresponds with this episode, they're all produced by Flex. FLX Productions, dope ass beats. I also would like to thank Action Kid on YouTube. Action Kid, he's given us first-person walkthroughs or drive-throughs in different scenarios, neighborhoods, cities. He's giving you a first-person point of view. They're awesome videos. I found the Brownsville walkthrough on his page. I hit him up. I asked him if I could use the footage for the Chronicles. He was definitely okay with it. So I tagged him in the video. I'm also shouting him out here, and I'm going to put his information in the description of this episode. Check out his episodes. Donate some money to my man because he's doing a lot of dope work to spread positivity. I love it. As always, the intro and outro theme music for this podcast is produced by Soilo with Real Music and Films. My boy Soilo, thank you so much. Also, everybody, remember, maintain focus and stay continuous through all 4 seasons. My name is Felix C. Arroyo, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles. Y'all be safe.